Do it again. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to Dad Said We Could. I'm Henry, and today we're working on our hot rod / don't know what we're gonna do with yet tractor. It's an LGT Ford 100 video, and we're working on it today. And we've been working on the put that cable.
Well, right now we're just trying to find out
If it
the
runs.
engine will turn over.
So we're looking for. So we found the bolt for the ground wire, which was missing, and it was in the bin that we got with it for the items. And today we're gonna be putting those on, see if the engine turns over.
Yep. The goal.
Hopefully it starts.
The goal today is get the battery on it, turn the engine over, see that it's moving freely.
Hope that it starts.
And I'm over here working on a little personal project. We picked up this Toyota engine for scrap, and I just want to tear it apart. So while he's working on that, I'm going to be doing this.
Yep. It's Jim's first time using the engine stand, and he's finding out how finicky they can be to adjust. But
Yeah.
he'll get there. That's not working, Henry.
Well, guys, we now have the battery in. After we put the wire in, we put a little bit of oil in the spark plug hole. That oils up the piston. And the piston rings, I should say. We have the starter cable on, going up to right up here, I think. And then we're about to hook the battery up and try and turn it over. Hopefully we get somewhere. Well, guys, we're ready to turn her over. We got the battery in, and let's see if she starts. Let's see if the starter's good or bad. Let's see if the starter's kaput too. And let's see if we can get the engine running.
Do it again. Okay. It's definitely turning.
We definitely leave that spark plug back in, and we're gonna get stuff up.
No.
tomorrow.
Now let's turn it over again. I want to hear it. Your PTO's spinning. That's good. It means it's not locked up. That sounded pretty smooth, so the bearings sound like they're good.
Yeah, we got one problem though.
What's that?
My PTO wasn't on.
It's not even hooked up, so it wouldn't have turned on anyway.
So our next process will be fuel and cleaning the carburetor and bench testing the starter.
Ignition coil.
Ignition.
We can bench test this and find out if it's any good. If it's no good, we order a new one.
Yeah. And we already know that we need new cables because
Yep.
throttle ain't moving nothing, and the choke is really hard to pull up because the cable's frozen. So we're gonna order new ones, and hopefully next time we're out here working, we can get this thing running. And I will be really happy if we can, because that means that all this work was for something.
How'd it go with taking apart your engine?
It didn't go well. We don't have the right size bolts, so I can't mount the engine.
Yeah, it's not likely we've got random bolts for a small Toyota engine sitting around our garage.
Yeah.
We work
So-
on tractors.
Yeah, we'll find something that works, and then
Not Toyota.
Jim can see what the inside of that block looks like over there, okay?
Yep.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Well, guys, we're back in the garage. It's the next day. And I've already started taking the carburetor bolts off. I need to get that one, which is already loose. And we have the ignition coil. And then we're gonna take that home and bench test it. And today, I'm trying to get this off. And we're gonna bench test that.
Okay, get to work. Jim, what's your little project?
I got the engine on the hoist.
So what's your point of taking this engine apart?
To try to learn how engines work, so I can fix them up.
Okay, you realize it's basically the same as that clear plastic model you have.
Yes.
Okay.
I do it.
So what's this?
Coolant.
No, hollow tube that comes out. It's supposed to be pointed up that way, towards the top of the engine.
Gas.
What would you put down a hollow tube?
Gasoline.
The hollow tube that leads down to the oil pan.
Oil.
That's your dipstick tube.
Dipstick tube, yes.
Dipstick tube. Yep, the thing you're cleaning off here is I'm not real familiar with Toyotas, but that's probably where the engine mount bolts to.
Yes.
And do you remember what these are?
Coolant things.
Coolant, yes, but they have a name.
Coolant.
It's a common problem here in Pennsylvania in places where it freezes.
Coolant salt.
Freeze plugs.
Freeze plugs. So these kind of come out a bit so we can let the water
Exactly. They're a weak point that's engineered into the system so that if something does go wrong, that's what you replace instead of having to replace your whole engine.
which is very useful.
All right, so instead of cleaning more, we're just going to continue with the teardown and explore what the inside of a car engine looks like.
We've got all the bolts off that hold on the oil pan, so we're going to take that off and see what the inside of an engine looks like. And we've tried picking it up, like just the pan, and it won't come off, so we're using a screwdriver instead.
Okay,
We got a really big problem.
go the inside of a Toyota engine.
Distance.
I want to turn it on, just watch it work.
Not the pistons.
It's
Those are the spinny things.
It's the camshaft.
What?
Camshaft.
Crankshaft.
Crankshaft. That was close.
No, you were not.
So that's the oil filtration system out. Bit difficult, gonna lie. So now I'm gonna try to take the crankshaft out.
Okay,
This part right here. It's held on by that, and
so you
that.
need to take these things off. That's one on each side. Okay, there,
There, which is 10 in
Yep.
total, because I can do math. What size are those? Do we happen to know?
They are going to be tight, so you're going to want to use the impact to just zip them off, okay?
Now we're all taken off. Let's see what we got in here.
So the crankshaft is unbolted now. We'll get a big wrench and see if we can turn that, okay?
Here we go. A big wrench.
That might not work. You might want a pipe wrench.
Oh, let's try this.
There. You are rotating the engine.
And there go. A lot more faster than this.
Let's turn it sideways so you can see it better.
So, we got the oil pan off. If you come over here, you can see what the crankshaft looks like from underneath. That's what it looks like. Some of the bearings and shims fell off,
That's all right.
but that's all right because this is a junk engine.
The crankshaft is what turns in the engine. Everything rotates around that.
That's what pushes the pistons up and down.
The connecting rods are attached to the crankshaft, and then the connecting rods on the other end are attached to the pistons. So as we turn the engine, you'll be able to see how the cranks move, and then you can go see how the pistons move up and down. It's turning pretty freely since we don't have any pressure on it.
Oh, it is a fork.
The bearing.
The connecting rod bearings are good at least.
I love it when stuff falls.
There is some scoring.
So over the last few days, me and Dad fixed up the Husqvarna, so that's ready to be mowed. And a friend of ours gave us this old Schwinn Latour.
It needs tires and tubes, but other
That's
than
it. The brakes are good.
yeah, the back wheel needs straightened a little bit, but otherwise it's good.
I think Charlie likes the bike.
Anyway, on my side, we, over the last week or two, my dear dad, took a look at the carburetor, and it was pretty much clean, and we just had a air bottle cleaning, and that was enough to get the dust out. So me and Jim just put that on this morning, and then we clean this off, and next we're going to bench test it.
And what is that part?
That is the ignition coil.
Very good. So we've got the service manual here. Found it online, printed it out. We do this for all the vehicles we have if we're able to. And we are going to test this on the bench before we bolt it to the tractor. But if the coil works, that engine should start. Not bad for something that was sitting in a barn for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
No, they
something
said
like that.
15 or something like that.
It was a pretty long time. So, but these old Kohlers, they'll run forever as long as they've got spark and fuel.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Go ahead.
So what we're doing is now we're bench testing it with a multimeter, and then but in the manual it says it's connected to the
The primary terminals.
the two main primary terminals.
So this is electrical diagnosis here. You can test electrical parts with a multimeter that can measure things like amperage, voltage, resistance, things like that. Resistance is how hard electricity has to work to travel through there. The smaller the number, the closer to zero, the easier it is for electricity to travel through. So hold it steady there. What's it say?
0.004.
Hold it steady. You moving around is making the number change.
I know, it's hard.
It is.
Yeah, 0.005 or 4.
A 4 or 5. Okay. So if we check the book over here, I already looked. It says the minimum it can be is 0.5. It's borderline, but it should work.
So we tested it, and this wire's healthy, I'll say. They're both good for testing on the coils, and then the ground and the wires on the inside are good. But the bad thing is right in here. It's so old that the parts where there should be wires sticking up, bare wire, that's all mashed down, so they're not making a connection. So we have to buy a new ignition coil and ignition wire.
Yep. It was a good example of how you can test the individual components, the wire and the coil, and they test healthy. But when you put them together and find out they're not working, you have to investigate more. And in this case, it just turns out to be the part where the bare wire is actually supposed to be touching. It's not reaching because it's just old and broken. So, new parts. We'll have to order some. So, we got parts for the Schwinn on order.
24 by 1/4 inch tires and tubes.
Skinny tires. We're not used to those, but Jim will get used to it.
Yeah.
And then a coil and wire. And I think we'll get you a Ford keychain while we're at it.
Yeah, this was.
Okay. So we'll get back to work on this. Let's head home and work on some dirt bikes.
Yep.